Hey, my name is Evan Ward, and this is my office concert for the Belmont Vision. Days and the hours they pass, like cars on the street moving fast, they almost hit me. And when I see you, the stories I tell of how my music is going so well always seem so dull and empty. I see you pop up on my screen. You and your life seem to be so full of wonder. But in the back of my head I still dream about how different my life would be if you hadn't thrown me under. Oh, but am I better off? Or was I never good enough? I never see you when you come to town. It's like you're afraid to come around the ones you heard here. But if you did come and lay in my bed, it wouldn't match the idea in my head I've built up, I feel. Oh, but am I better off? Or was I never good enough? Can't leave a man all alone if you don't leave behind his soul. And oh, you can't leave a man all alone if you don't leave behind his soul. Because alone this world can take its toll.
I'm here with Evan Ward. How are you, Evan?
Good, how are you?
Good. Tell us about the songs you just played.
So the first song is called Good Enough, and it's off an EP that I released this summer. And I actually wrote the song about probably 2.5 years ago, and when I wrote it, it was one of those times where the song just kind of came together in about 15 minutes, which doesn't usually happen for me. But it was about a relationship that had actually ended about 2 years prior to writing the song. And I think that's honestly one of the reasons that I still enjoy singing it today, is because it was so far after. It wasn't like a breakup song, but it was like a like a post breakup song. And I mean, it is referencing like a relationship that ended, but it's more about the time after. That's like, what now? You know, how do you go on with life, and how do you view yourself after that? So that was the first one. And then the second one is called Young Man's Game, and it was the title track of the EP. And it was the first song I wrote when I got to Belmont. And I remember that just like my first semester here, I didn't really do a ton. I just kind of stayed in my dorm and slept and watched Netflix. And I knew that I wanted to write, but I just didn't know if it was even the right thing for me to do if I was supposed to be here. And that song just kind of came to me that spring semester. I just kind of thought up the main lyric, "Growing Old Alone is a Young Man's Game," when I was in music business class, and I immediately like ran to my dorm as soon as we got out, and I just wrote it down, and then the rest of the song just kind of happened after that. So,
You got any new music coming on?
I don't at the moment, but we just put out a song about less than a month ago. It's called "Still My Girl," and we had recorded it back in August, and it's a really fun one. It's got strings and trumpets and stuff like that, so it was definitely a learning curve writing for those instruments and recording for it, but I'm really proud of the way that it turned out, and it came out on October 27th, so coming up on a month in a few weeks, but yeah. Sweet. So it's really fun to record and fun to write. So
You remember the first song you ever wrote?
Yeah, I kind of, so I have I have a song that I wrote when I was about 4 years old that my family still likes to hold over my head, and it had one verse, or it had two verses actually. And the first verse, it was pretty repetitive. It just was like, "T-Rex are real, yeah, yeah," and so they still like to hold that over my head. But I guess like the first real song I wrote was in seventh grade, and it was about like my first girlfriend, and it was called Good is Gone. And it was funny because like I wrote it when we were dating, and I wrote it as like, you know, like I'm as good as gone, like falling for you. And then she broke up with me, and I immediately rewrote it. So yeah, that was the first song. That was the first song I ever wrote. So
And who would you say are your notable musical influences?
So I really like Bob Dylan a lot in terms of like writing style, and it's weird because it like changes every day. I listen to an artist, and then I immediately like dive very deep into their catalog of music, and it's all I listen to for a while. And so like lately I've been listening to Raylan Baxter, and before that I was listening to Nina Simone, and then before that I don't really remember who I was listening to, but you know, it just kind of, I'd say like every 1 or 2 months I choose a new artist and just exhaust their music. So yeah, but Bob Dylan, like a lot of older artists, I tend to not listen to as much new stuff, but yeah. So
Cool. Well, thanks for coming in.
of course, thanks for having me.
When the years pass through the dusty hourglass and my dreams fall like the pouring rain, would you pick me up or leave me in the dirt till I go insane? Growing old alone is a young man's game. When I stand in the ruins on my burned down city streets, will you pick me up, carry me, and you rest of my tired feet? When I walk too far to carry on and forget just why I came. Growing old alone is a young man's game. when I climb up in a tree just to see your face and cut a hole atop the courtroom and know you're in, pleading my case. Will you sell me out for a couple nickels, break me free from my lonely chains? Growing old alone is a young man's game. When there's wrinkles on my face and there is worry in my soul, will you take me in and dance with me and give me shelter from the cold? When I was young, I was bold, but now I'm too old to take the blame, to hold the weight, to face the flame. Growing old alone is a young man's game. Growing old alone is a young man's game.